begin with, I just suggested to take a strap, and if you don't have one, to grab a household item or item of clothing rather, just like a scarf, something that I've just been wearing, a belt, or, you know, just being creative. I would love you, however, to just leave that to the side and come to lie down on your back. And if that is of any comfort for you, maybe touching the soles of the feet together and letting your knees roll out to the sides. If this is quite intense for you, could have different reasons. You might want to pop a cushion or blocks or whatever it is underneath your legs to support that and make it a little bit more restorative. One more joining us. Good morning, Jenny. Please do grab an item such like a strap, a shawl, or something like that, as we might need that for the practice. And then beginning lying down on the backs, touching the soles of the feet together, maybe supporting from there. And once you've found your way into that position, make sure that you're comfortable to start with. And from what I notice within myself, as much as we need movement at the moment, because we're once more stuck at home and have been for a few days, or safe at home, I like that. The movement seems to be necessary, and a lot of us have chosen, on top of moving on the mat, to go outside and enjoy the outdoors. Yet we also need to come into a stillness that feels safe and supported, and to me a yoga class can do that. So I hope you're getting both elements out of this practice. Once you've found your comfort in your reclined position, just come to the basics. You're touching the floor underneath you or your mat. You're breathing. And your heart is beating. So a good reason to be grateful for yourself being able to do this, as well as showing up. And that is for yourself. And then you could decide to go that little bit deeper and acknowledging sensations that you might be feeling. The sensation could be very simple, and it could be the movement that your breath is creating in your physical body. Or it could go deeper, and you could acknowledge that you have parts of the body completely easing and relaxing right now, and others that you might hold on to, or little niggles that lie within. Please embrace all of this. Whatever comes up, whatever or however you are perceiving it. Acknowledging the thoughts now. Noticing each thought as it might be a repetitive one that's kind of stuck in your head, or it could be very random ones, or different ones that interact with each other. Sometimes it's one leading into the next. When it comes to the afflictions of the mind, or the kleshas as we call them in yoga, they are all just about thoughts. And there's one that is ignorance. Ignorance can mean that we're just not paying enough attention, but it is also just that we're not aware of ourselves. And what better time there is than this time on your mat to notice you just as you are, with all of the thoughts that come and go as they are part of your learning, rather than pushing things to the side, just embracing them and acknowledging that thoughts are thoughts rather than a reality. And thoughts can be food just as our nourishment that we're literally eating. So let's cultivate a thought that is quite neutral as you bring your whole awareness to your breath. Starting to deepen the breath. As you might allow the idea of belly rising, chest opening, space being created between the ribs. And a potential relaxing thought as everything softens when you're breathing out. Stay with that as you increase the rate of your breathing. The idea of a movement on the inhalation, a creation of space for the lungs to expand. And when you're breathing out, just think about relaxing and letting things be. If you like, you can add full yogi breath pattern, but not essential at this stage. Just a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now, this practice is linked with the breath. So hence why we call it a more holistic practice, as we want to bring the whole of us within this practice. If the mind wanders, not only in a steady hold, but in general, just notice and bring it back. I will ask you now to guide your knees up, and you can use your hands to move your legs. Just separate the feet a little bit as they come onto the ground. To lift the pelvis once and place it down in a more comfortable position. To let your arms just gently drift away from the body. Keep them soft, relax the shoulders on the ground. And begin very small, just a gentle rocking of the knees from side to side, and noticing how you're getting through this movement, a gentle massage into the pelvis, into the lower back. And if this feels good, and then only then, you could widen the movement, take the knees a little bit further across to the sides. But do notice that sometimes this feels quite good on one side, but not so brilliant on the other. And you feel free to do a lot more on one side and maybe less on the other. If you're fine with the balance, of course, that is something to go for, but also important to acknowledge what's right for you at this stage. I'll ask you to next keep your knees over towards the right hand side. To take a deep breath in and to allow a soft sigh out. Then guide your knees up and across to the left. Once you're rested, take a deep breath in And a sigh out. And then roll all the way over onto your left-hand side and come into a seated position. Sitting preferably in an easy pose and taking your strap. This is what I'll call it, whatever you're using. Take your strap. I will ask you to be really mindful about using it in this way, especially around your shoulders and neck area. So maybe your hold on the strap is slightly different to mine, but I'm nurturing a sore shoulder, so you might copy me altogether, who knows. Let's lift the arms up and either keep them straight but relax the shoulders down, or bend the elbows like me if that is more comfortable. The shoulders in any case will be nice and relaxed in their sockets. Now let's hold a bit of tension in the strap, and as you're breathing out, bending a little bit to your right. Don't change your arms though. Inhale, come to center, and exhale, bend a little bit to the left. Now we'll do that again. Breathe in, breathe out, and bend to the side. Noticing how you might feel there's a lift now coming in through the sit bones as we're aiming to go that little bit deeper. Movement stays the same, breath stays the same, but this time we're holding here for a little. And see if you can keep yourself grounded. Almost push the left sit bone to the floor. Nothing changes in the arms. Breath in, come back to center. Make sure both shoulders are relaxing again. And on the out breath, then bend over to your left. And as you're bending, ground down through the right sit bones, as if you're pushing away from the side that you're leaning towards. Lifting yourself up and release the strap for a moment. Maybe move your fingers. And if that feels right, lift your feet off the ground. And then crossing the legs in the other way. Now, as you next breathe in, lifting the arms again. This time, widen the strap a little bit and bring the strap behind. Now, I will allow mine to touch roughly around the shoulder blades and still keep a strong hold on each end. On the out breath now, turning to your right. Again, nothing changes with the strap. Breath in, come to center, and breath out and turning to the left. Now notice what's happening within your body as you continue. And maybe that second round gets you deeper. Maybe you're noticing differences between the sides. I will ask you when you come back to the right to pause here. Again, keep yourself grounded, but let go of the legs, no tension in the legs. And feel a core switching on to take you to that twist. Then center, and then move across to your left. And again, hold here. Relax your legs. Maybe your pelvic floor is lightly on, or Mula Bandha, and your core is taking you into this twist. Let's release that to the center, extending the arms backwards, lift the strap up, and then simply place it to the side or the front of your mat. So you've got it there for some other movements. I will ask you again to lift your feet off the ground. If that's too much for you, you can just swing them across. And we're taking the legs over and coming onto the hands and the knees. Now it will be nice maybe to spread the hands out quite wide for a solid stance. And as you all know, I prefer that the wrists are slightly out from underneath the shoulders. So we're not stacking the joints here, we're keeping a bit more space for movement. Yet what is stacked is the knees underneath the hips. Now I'd ask you to find a more firm stance to begin with. really to encourage the tops of the feet and the shins into the ground, as well as the whole of your hands, including your fingers and the pads of the fingers. The head is very lightly lifted, just like mine, to maintain the natural curve in the back of the neck. And as you take your next inhalation, extend your right leg back, point out through your toes. And as you're breathing out now, round your back, bring your knee and your nose a bit closer. On the in-breath, extending back. Still feel the firmness of the stance in your three limbs. And when you're breathing out, bring the knee in towards the nose. Inhaling to extend. We're going for 3 more. Breath out to tuck in. Inhaling to extend. And exhale to bring in. Now that last one that is coming up just now, bring the knee forward and just place the knee down in front and let your left foot slide back. We're not going into half pigeon, just a bit of openness in the front of the body. Come to your fingertips, open your chest, maybe lift your gaze up. Take a deep breath. And then if it feels right, even gently leaning over this knee. We're not going into a deep stretch. You might bring your hands into Anjali Mudra here and rest the forehead or the third eye point onto your thumbs. Notice what's happening in your back. Does this feel good? Do you need to change your position slightly? I'll invite you from here to place your hands back down as they were, nicely spread out. To slide the knee back and to readjust your all-four stance. We will begin now with the left leg. A breath in to extend the left leg back. Now staying here, stay firm in the 3 limbs on the floor, shin, top of the foot. And as you're breathing out next, bring your knee and your nose closer together. Inhaling to extend the body. Exhaling to draw in. Repeating for 3 rounds, and we will finish exactly as we did on the other side. But no need to rush there. Keep the mind right here in the movement, the stability that you're creating on the floor. And the last one here, we will hold the knee forward and we will just place that out in front, sliding the right leg back if that works for you, and then creating some more space as we lift up onto the fingertips, opening through the throat, the chest, if that works for your neck. And then lowering down. Please be mindful with pressure on knees and hips. And if that worked for you before, the Anjali Mudra, palms touching, and the third eye point coming to rest on your thumbs. Always a nice reminder for me to mind my thoughts. I will ask you from there to step back up onto the hands, to slide the knee back, and this time to stretch back into an extended child's pose. On a breath in now, come back to all fours. We'll tuck toes under and lift the knees off the ground for a downward facing dog. And you might choose to just walk out a little bit through the legs. We haven't done much with them yet. Maybe there's a movement into the hips that you would enjoy to do. And just stay with that for a moment. Any movement in any direction that feels right at this stage. And then from here, beginning to lift your right leg up into the air. Breath in. On the out breath, bring your knee up towards your nose. So we're repeating. On the in breath, extend the leg back. On the out breath, bring the knee in. Only one more from here though, and keeping the knee forward. Placing the foot now towards the front of the mat. And please feel free to have the knee down on the ground if you need to as you step forward, and we'll bring the left knee down now anyway. You might untuck your toes and take your strap. Lifting the arms from here. And then the same, either keep your arms extended or bend the elbows, but maintain some tension in the strap. Your choice here also to lean the hips forward. Please be careful with the knee on the floor and what works for you. And if you are leaning forward, also make sure that you keep some space behind your knee. Or other words, that the knee doesn't go over the ankle joint towards the toes. Rather wiggle the foot a bit further forward if you're enjoying this movement. Now, shoulders relaxed, a breath in. Keep the tension on the strap, and while you're breathing out, bend over towards your leg. So that would be towards the right side. Now I've worked it out. See if you can keep this tension and maybe go a little bit deeper into the side. Ground it through the feet. Then lifting yourself up. And as you're breathing out, lean the spine forward. Take the strap to the side of the mat. Bring the hands down, tuck the toes under, and step back up for downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your left leg up. On your out breath, bring your knee and your nose closer. Inhaling, extending up and back. Exhale, knee, nose together. And one more time as you're breathing in to lift. And then keep the knee forward as you're breathing out and stepping the foot between the hands. Maybe lower the knee down already to do so. And then you could wiggle the foot forward if it's not quite listening. Take your strap again. We'll repeat to the other side. As you're lifting your body up, notice where you're at here. Do you want to lean forward? Please watch the space behind the front knee. Maybe the foot needs to come further forward if the hips are leaning forward. Then lift your strap up into the air. Make sure the shoulders are in their sockets. Elbows can be straightened or bent, but there's tension now in the strap. As you next exhale, bend over towards the left. So again, that's where the knee is in front. As you might hold here, there's subtle adjustments within. And maybe you can take that side bend a bit further. Noticing the foundation isn't quite as solid as when we were sitting. Creating that space in the side. One more. Then come to center. Lean over the thigh. Take the strap by the side of the mat and step back into downward dog. I invite you now to take a breath in, move forward into plank or kneeling plank. And on the out breath, then lower down onto the front of your body. Tops of the feet are on the mat. A breath in to engage into the legs and lift the upper body. You chose to use the hands, but keep the shoulders down, elbows in, or to not use them much or not at all. Holding in your back bend, 2 more breaths. After which you will release towards the mat. Breath in to come onto all fours and a stretch back into extended child's pose. Returning to all fours, and if this is enough, you can move from here, otherwise all the way to downward dog. We'll do nothing much different in this round, but it's something. As you take a breath in, let's lift the right leg again. We'll only do 2 rounds now. As you breathe out, bring your knee up towards your nose. On the in-breath, extending. On the out-breath, bring the knee forward and land the foot between the hands. You now know how to get it there. We'll always leave enough time. Now, if it is okay for you, leave the back knee off the floor but bend it. Take your strap and start to come up into a high lunge. From there, lifting the arms and choosing again straight arms or elbows bent, but tension in your strap. A light bend in your back knee, and the front knee is once more safe over the ankle joint. So here we are stacking joints. On the next out breath now, bending over towards the right hand side. Maintain the tension in the strap and rather do less than moving the arms. Maybe you can go deeper, and I hope you're feeling that there's more length now coming across the side of the hip. Lifting yourself back into center from here, and then lower your heel down to the floor. And I will ask you from this point then to widen the strap, keep it behind you, and lean in for a side angle pose. So some straps will be long enough to extend both arms. Maybe you need to rest your forearm down. Now I will ask you only to keep a tension that is very gentle so the strap doesn't collapse, but there's no real pulling. If you do like to look up, please do so, and ground down through the outer edge of the back foot. Now I will ask you to release that, to let the strap fall down behind you onto the ground, to place your hands back onto the mat, and to return to down dog or all fours. We will repeat this on the other side. As you're breathing in, lifting your left leg. Breath out, bring your knee to your nose. Inhaling, extend back again. And on the out breath, bringing the foot forward. If okay, leave the back knee off the ground, finding your stance, taking your strap, and then making your way up into your high lunge, with or without the wobbles. Lifting the strap up, little reminder, shoulders soft, elbows your choice. Back knee, bring that into a bit of a bend. And then let's bend over to the side where your knee is in front. Side bend to your left, keeping the tension in the strap. Maybe going a bit deeper. Remind yourself that the back knee is also bent. And then we will change that. Lifting yourself up, lower the heel, and as you widen your grip, leaning into side angle pose. Now the same here, the strap is slightly tightened, I would call it lengthened. The hands are holding on loosely. You might even reach up with your gaze, grounding down to the outer edge of the back foot. And now check in with your breathing. And we will release that as well. As I'd ask you to drop the strap down behind you, bring the hands down and step back into your down dog or to all fours. A breath in now to roll forward into plank or kneeling plank. On your out breath, lower. Finding now a cobra that suits you, and it might even be one with wider arms, just choosing what is right for you today. Can you stay there? 2 more breaths. When you exhale, lower the body, bring the hands by your sides, lift it back up, and stretch the hips to the heels, extended child's pose. Returning again to all fours or downward facing dog, whichever one is right for you at this stage. As you're entering the posture, let's take a breath in to lift the right leg once more. This time we're stepping forward straight away. You bring your knee forward, you step the foot to the front. You grab your strap and we're rolling up into standing or supporting ourselves. We're repeating and adding. Let's lift the arms up. Let the shoulders soften. Bend into your back knee. Inhale. Exhale, bending over towards the right side. We now know where we're feeling this and where to hold or where to go further. And then from here, lower your back heel to the ground. Widen the arms. The strap is lengthened. Your gaze could be anywhere where it's comfortable, but maybe you can even look upwards. Now keep the strap in this length for now and lengthened. And then lift yourself up like a warrior 2. But we're transitioning straight away into an exalted warrior pose. Now my gaze is wandering down to protect my neck. Yours could change and could lift upwards instead. Again, using the strap just as a reminder to keep the length in the arms and maybe feeling some length now in the front side of the body. I will ask you from here to straighten your front leg, to bring length in even further. Then lift your arms out wide. And then we're releasing the strap down and the hands down, stepping this back to down dog or as usual, all fours as an alternative. As you breathe in, lift your left leg. And for the out breaths, bringing the left foot forward between the hands. Taking your strap as you rise up into your lunge. Lifting the arms, softening the shoulders, the back knee. And on your out breath, leaning across to the left-hand side. Again, switch back to the sensations that you felt in the longer hold of this posture. To release it, center your upper body, lower your heel, and then lengthen the strap out and come to side angle pose. Notice if your gaze wants to be straight ahead, up or down. Keeping the length here in the body. Keep the front knee bent from here. Lift the upper body. We're in a warrior 2 and then exalt the warrior straight away. Maintaining that gentle lengthening in the strap. Front knee is still bent. We're standing on both of our feet. From there, let's straighten the front leg. Then lift the arms. And then releasing it all as you place the hands down. This time, step the foot to the front. Take a breath in, a half lift here. And out, breath to fold. Taking the strap with you as you begin to curl up into standing. Lifting the strap and your arms, of course. Soften again into the shoulders. Now find a strong stance. Have a little look, are your toes facing forward? And can you engage from the feet up the legs into the buttocks? And as you're breathing out, bending to the right, don't move your arms, keep them as a frame around the head. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, go to the other side. Inhale, come to center. And as you're breathing out, get the strap behind you. Maybe bring the wrist around once or twice. Palms might be facing forward or outwards. And from there, bend your knees deeply, belly to the thighs, and the arms might extend over the head. Please be careful with the shoulders, not everyone's movement here. Otherwise, keeping gentle tension or length on the strap. Weight starts shifting forward within the feet as we go a little bit deeper. Stay here for another breath. And then release the strap to the front of the mat. A half lift on your in-breath. And on your out-breath now, stepping both feet back to downward facing dog or all fours. Inhale, let's lift the right leg up again. Exhale, bring the knee forward. And then the foot between the hands. We will still take the strap with us as we're rising up to standing. Nothing changes here as you soften into shoulders and back knee. And on the out breath, bending to the right. As you breathe in, lifting lowering the heel down and leaning into your side angle pose. Keeping the length in the strap, but not so much tension. Keep the front knee in a bend, lift up, warrior two, and transition that straight into exalted warrior pose. As we did before, please straighten the front leg. And we will then lift the arms back out to the sides. And this time we'll transition into a triangle. So arms are still the same here. We will release that in a moment. As I invite you to bring your upper arm gently behind and to release the whole strap. If this still feels good, bring a bend into the front knee, don't change much else. Then bring a bend into your back knee, roll your shoulder in, bring your hands down, lift your heel, step the foot back, down dog. A breath in to come forward into plank or kneeling plank. Out breath lower to the mat. Now entirely your choice which back bend you're using and holding. Could be a variation of the cobra, could be an up dog. Stay again, 2 more breaths. And at the end, on the exhalation, lower. Return to all fours, extended child's pose. Coming onto all fours again, and then either staying there or downward facing dog. Lifting your left leg. Knee comes forward. Foot comes forward. Bend into the back knee, rise up for your lunge. Lift the arms together with your strap. Bend the back knee, soften into the shoulders and bring tension into your strap. And as you're breathing out, bending over to the right. No, that's the left. Over to the side where your knee is, nothing has changed here. Then as you lower the heel, turn around, lengthen or widen the grip on the strap, come into side angle pose. Strap very gently lengthened behind you. Nothing changes in your legs. Lift your torso, arms, warrior two, and use that as a transition for the exalted warrior pose. Straightening into the front leg, bringing even more space into the body. Then lift the arms out, the torso straightened, and then come straight into your triangle. Arms haven't changed much, we've only moved through the body. And from there, can you let go of the strap and wrap your arm, top arm behind your back. Notice your breath. And then if this feels good, could you bend into the front knee? We will release this by bending the back knee, rolling the shoulder in. Bring your hands down, step your foot forward. Breath in for a half lift at the top end of your mat. Do take your strap. As you're breathing out, begin to curl up into standing. So now we're using the strap in a different form. As I would ask you to start standing on your left foot. Strap is long and you step the ball of the right foot onto the strap. If you don't want to use it because you're very mobile, please feel free to ignore the strap here or the instructions around it. Now I'd ask you to stand up nice and tall, to shift the weight onto the left foot. And as you breathe in, bring a bend into the right knee and with the help of the strap, pull it up. Now I like to wrap my hands around the strap once so I don't have to grip as hard. Your choice. You can stay here, this is a balance, or you can choose to extend the leg out long. Leaving the shoulders relaxed. Trying to hold your balance. And if you feel very balanced, then pull the elbows in by your sides and lower your gaze as you lean forward over your knee. Now lifting the torso, bending the knee, releasing the strap, lifting the arms as you bend both of your knees into a chair. Now let's breathe in, straighten the legs, open the front of the body. Exhaling, come back into your chair. Let's do that again. Breath in, straighten the legs, lengthen the front of your body. Exhaling into the chair. One more time, breathe in. Breath out, hold your chair pose. And if you like, the hands can be lower or you could come into Charlie's Angel's Mudra. Steady gaze. Notice how you're standing on your 2 feet. Find the balance all across the soles of the feet. Let the sit bones open, draw the lower belly in to support you. And observe the warmth that arises. From here, fold over your thighs, release down into a standing forward bend. And you might choose to separate the feet if they were touching just then. I invite you to deepen your forward fold as either you're just leaning in deeper or you might even slide your hands underneath your feet. Ideally here the toes would reach the wrists and then you would come to stand on your hands. The head is relaxed here, gaze is down between the knees. And you might work towards straightening the legs or lifting the tailbone, or to lower your nose further to your knees. Stay with the forward bend, 3 breaths. When you have completed your 3 breaths, release the hands, grab your strap, take a half lift on the in-breaths as you lengthen your spine forward, and then breathe out and take your time to come back into standing. So once we're standing, we've got our strap again, we will change sides. So stand firmly on both of your feet at first. Take the strap down to ground level, stepping your ball of the left foot onto the strap. There's already again some tension in the strap, but do stand tall, shift your weight to the right foot. Don't worry about the foot down there. As you next inhale, bend your left knee and use the straps to bring it up. You might then choose to wrap your hands around once if that works for you. Maintain your balance, your steady gaze point, you know what's coming anyway. Next option, extending the leg forward. Notice the word option, it is one. If you find steadiness here and it suits you, as you breathe out, keep the elbows snug by your side and lean forward, your nose towards your knee. If this is what you've been doing, lifting the upper body first, we'll then bend the knee, and we will release the foot as well as the strap, coming back into a chair pose. Breath in, lift and open the front body. Breath out, come back into the chair. Twice more before the holding, lengthen to open your front. Our breath to chair pose. Last one. Come into the chair. If it works, change the Charlie's Angels interlace. Hold the arms as high or as low as suits your body. Stay grounded again on the feet. Firm stands across both soles of the feet. Inhale here. And as you're breathing out, slide down towards the right and look in the direction of your hands. Breathe in, come straight. Legs are unchanged. Slide down towards the left. Inhale in front. Exhale to your right. Inhale, lift. Exhaling to your left. Once more to each side. As you breathe in, lift the arms once more, but this time folding belly over the thighs, return to your standing forward bend. On an in-breath, lengthen forward for a half lift. And as you're breathing out, bring your knees down, bring your hips down, and let your legs come out wide. So you might use the strap today just because we went through the effort of finding it, but you might be perfectly comfortable not to. What I'd ask you to do is the same as we did standing, lifting the arms, shoulders relaxed, breathe in. And as you're breathing out, let the strap go down behind you. Keep it there with a light tension touching around the shoulder blades. Inhale. And as you're breathing out, now turn towards the right. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, turning to the left. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, turn towards the right. Hold here. Maybe we're facing that leg. Lift the arms up as you're breathing in. Keep your tall seat and see if you can lean forward. And for some, you might be able to swing the strap around the foot. For some, it might not be necessary. Up to you. Keep the shoulders in their sockets and begin to lower your nose towards your right knee. Now, do notice that there's likely the left side of the buttocks wanting to take off. We've had that sensation before. Encourage this side to stay grounded while the whole body is leaning in the opposite direction. Stay here. 2 full breaths in and out. Once you have completed, loosen the strap around your foot. You could roll up or you could lift up from your center. Arms coming back over the head, and we will widen them as you bring the strap once more behind you. So a gentle tension on it, wrapping around the shoulder blade area. As you're exhaling, twisting to your left. Inhale, come to center. Exhaling, twisting to your right. Inhaling, center. Exhaling to your left. Now stay here. Lift through the arms. Feet are still flexed, legs with that engaged. And as you're breathing out, leaning over the thigh and maybe swinging the strap around the foot. So aim here was to enter the posture with a straighter back, but now mind more that the shoulders are in their sockets, the toes are facing up, and the nose is facing downwards. Before you notice the right side of the buttocks wanting to follow the direction you're leaning in, encouraging the right side of the buttocks down towards the floor. Same here, but the whole rest of the body is leaning to the other side. Staying here, present, and breathe. We will release the posture, either coming up gently or lifting up fully. And then just releasing the arms down. Place the strap by the side of your mat. Now, if you've got a wall behind you, maybe you get yourself fairly close towards the wall and you're taking, unless your cat is sleeping on it, your blanket, maybe even a cushioning. We're not quite doing yet what it looks like. I would ask you at first to roll down onto your back on your mat. To step both feet down onto the floor. The arms alongside the body. And then take a breath in to tilt your pelvis so the spine is flat on the ground. Then squeeze the buttocks muscles as you're breathing out and lift your hips into a bridge. I feel it's nice to just create some space there in the front body before rolling down again onto your back. Let's take the strap, bring it around your right foot, and extend the whole leg upwards. If your strap is long enough, slide the hands down so elbows and shoulders are on the floor. Naturally, the heel will here be extending towards the ceiling. If you need to bend your knee, that's fine too. Just notice what's right for you. Holding onto the strap, and on the out breath, bring the whole leg in. If you want to wrap your hands or fingers around the strap, do so. And maybe now each out breath takes the straight leg a bit closer in towards your body. Last breath in this stretch. To release it, bend the knee, release the strap. And we'll straight come to the other side. Strap goes around the left foot. Slide your hands down, preferably elbows as well as shoulders on the ground. Maybe a wrap around the strap. Notice the sensations that are here already. And if it feels right to deepen, using from now your out breath to draw the leg in a bit closer towards you. And just staying there with that. Awareness is within the shape that we're in, as well as your breath. And if the mind has decided to go elsewhere, just remind it that you're still on the mat. To release, bend the knee, and now we won't need the strap anymore. Let that come to the side. Now, if you're as comfortably next to a wall as I am, just wiggle yourself over so the side of the hip is on the side of the wall. Roll onto your back and bring your legs up against the wall. Now, if I had a blanket to spare here to demonstrate, I would swing the blanket over the feet and build myself a little tent. Once you've got this, you can maybe pop a thin cushion underneath the head. Maybe you're feeling beautifully as you are. Maybe you would like something underneath the hips. You've got a block or a bolster that you like to use to elevate the hips or the pelvis. Now, as I said, arms could be coming out to the side, and I usually prefer this position. But as it is not Shavasana, if you prefer hands on the body, that is an option here as well. And from there, close the eyes and just rest. This is one of the rare occasions where if this posture is very restful and nourishing for you, I invite you to stay in it. To rest in this pose and to allow the posture to do its thing. As it is an inversion, you might feel some sensations of flow downwards, which is fine. Noticing if other things are arising as well, such as thoughts. And without going into the depths of each thought that you notice, just notice that they are. Little reminder how important it is to work with your thoughts, even in daily living, as you're feeding your mind with them. Today, a law of attraction card showed up for our practice. In the front, it just says, "The law of attraction treats my imagination as reality." I will read the back to you as it's very much about our thoughts. The universe, which is responding to the thoughts you are thinking, does not distinguish between a thought from your observation of some observed reality and a thought brought about by your imagination. In either case, the thought equals your point of attraction, and if you focus upon it long enough, it will become your reality. This applies to all thoughts, all that we feed our mind. Allowing yourself to gently deepen your breathing, to start moving the body a little bit. Maybe to have a stretch. And then to return into a seated position, where I would ask you to touch the hands together in front of the chest. And it just feels right to finish with a deep breath in, to reach the arms out and up, to touch the hands and place the thumbs against the forehead, inviting only peaceful thoughts into your day. To bring the thumbs to touch your lips, to invite only kind words into your day. And then finishing with the thumbs touching the heart or the sternum, inviting only actions with love into your day. From there, we're extending to each other. Namaste.